All right, so let's crack open this ancient philosophical case file. It's a thought experiment, right? But it's one that has genuinely baffled some of the greatest minds for centuries. And believe it or not, it all kicks off with one legendary ship.
So, here it is, the big question at the heart of it all. And, when you first look at it, it seems almost simple, right? But stick with me because this one little question completely pulls apart everything we think we know about identity, what it means for anything, or even anyone, to stay the same over time. So our story takes us all the way back to ancient Greece. We've got this account from the historian Plutarch, and he tells us that the people of Athens wanted to preserve the ship of their hero, a guy named Theseus. So what do? As the old wooden planks started to decay and rot, they carefully, painstakingly replaced them, one by one. Until, well, you can probably guess what happened. Eventually, not a single original piece of that ship was left.
And in doing this, in trying to preserve the ship, they accidentally created this huge philosophical puzzle. I mean, think about it. Was this completely restored vessel, now made of totally new wood, still the Ship of Theseus? The philosophers in Athens, they were completely divided on this. It was a huge debate.
Okay, so just when you think you're getting your head around the problem, bam! Fast forward to the 17th century, and this philosopher, Thomas Hobbes, comes along and just throws a giant wrench into the whole thing. He adds a twist that basically makes the problem twice as complicated. Yeah, this is where it gets really tricky. So, picture this. Imagine there's this guy, a custodian or a collector or something, and instead of just tossing out those old, rotten planks as they're replaced, he decides to save them. He keeps every single last one.
So now, suddenly, we don't have one ship to worry about, we have two. Two suspects in our identity theft case. In one corner, you've got the repaired ship, the one sitting in the harbor. It's got all new parts, but it looks the same. It has the same design. And in the other corner, you have a totally new ship, built from the ground up using all of those old, original planks he saved. So, which one is the real Ship of Theseus?
That's the question, right? Now we've got two contenders, and honestly, both of them seem to have a pretty good argument for being the original. So, how on earth do we figure this out?
Well, to solve a case this tough, we're going to need to bring in some expert witnesses. Over the centuries, philosophers have come up with two main theories to try and crack this puzzle. And, funnily enough, each theory basically champions a different ship.
Okay, first up is what's called the component theory. This one's pretty straightforward, very materialistic. It basically says an object is its physical parts. End of story. So, according to this theory, the ship built from all the old original planks, that's the real Ship of Theseus. The one in the harbor is just a copy. And if you take that logic to its conclusion, it means you aren't literally the same person you were 7 years ago because, well, most of your cells have been replaced. But then you have the other side of the coin, the continuity theory. This one argues that identity isn't just about the physical stuff. It's more about the story, the unbroken chain of existence, its form, its function, its history. So the ship in the harbor, it has this continuous story as the Ship of Theseus. So from this viewpoint, identity's kind of like a river, It's always flowing and changing, but it's still the same river. It's the design and the purpose that really count, not the specific bits of wood.
And look, both of these theories have some serious philosophical heavy hitters in their corner. For Team Component, you've got guys like Leibniz, who'd say any change, even one plank, means it's a new ship. Or Kripke, who might say the original wood is the ship's essence. But then, for Team Continuity, you've got John Locke, who thought about this with people, saying our memories are what give us our identity. And David Wiggins, who argued that as long as something stays the same kind of thing, a ship doing ship things, then its identity holds up.
So what this all really boils down to is, how strict are you with the word same? It's a choice, really. Do you go for strict identity, where even the tiniest change means it's a whole new object? Or are you more on the relaxed identity side, where things can change as long as their main job and structure stay the same?
Okay, so you might be thinking, cool story, but this is all ancient history, right? Well, not at all. This case file is far from cold. This isn't just some abstract puzzle for philosophers. It pops up all over the place in our modern lives.
I mean, seriously, this problem is everywhere you look. Think about our own bodies. Our cells are constantly regenerating. Or our technology, right? AI systems, our phones, they get constant software and hardware upgrades. Isn't it the same device? There's the classic grandfather's axe problem, or if you're in the UK, trigger's broom. Is it the same broom after 17 new heads and 14 new handles? And a really fantastic recent example is from Marvel's WandaVision, which just dives headfirst into this, with two synthezoids who both believe they're the real Vision.
And there's this one line from the finale that just nails the whole paradox. When the two visions, the one created from magic and the one rebuilt from the original parts, finally confront each other, they basically realize, hey, we are the Ship of Theseus problem. They're a living, breathing version of it. Both of them have a legitimate claim to being Vision, but neither of them is the complete picture.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Their conversation actually points to a new clue, a totally different way of looking at it. They move past the simple debate of is it the parts or is it the design, and they introduce a third option, something that completely reframes the entire question.
And this is a total game changer. What if the rot on those old planks? What if it isn't a flaw? What if it's not something you're supposed to get rid of? What if that decay, that wear and tear, what if that's actually the memories, the evidence of the journey? What if that's where identity really is? Not in the physical stuff itself, but in the history and the experiences that the stuff has gone through.
So okay, we've reviewed all the evidence, we've heard from the ancient Greeks, from modern-day philosophers, even from a couple of sentient androids. So what's the verdict? Where do we land?
Well, the truth is, there isn't one. There's no easy answer. The Ship of Theseus Paradox is so powerful precisely because you can't solve it with a simple A or B. Its real value is that it forces us to see that identity isn't some fixed, concrete thing. It's fluid, it's dynamic, it's this messy combination of our physical parts, our purpose, and our own story.
And this idea actually brings us back full circle to another ancient Greek philosopher, Heraclitus. He famously said that you can never step in the same river twice. Why? Because it's not the same river, and you're not the same person. Everything is constantly changing. Nothing stays the same. And what that really means is that, just like that ship, we aren't static things. We're a process. We're in this constant state of self-becoming. We are always turning into the next version of ourselves, shaped by every single new experience, every thought, and yeah, every new cell that replaces an old one. Which, of course, leaves us with one last big question. And this one turns the investigation right back around on you. If everything about you is constantly changing, your cells, your memories, your beliefs, then what is it that makes you, you? What's that constant core? Maybe the real answer isn't a thing at all. Maybe, just like the journey of the ship, it's the process itself that matters most.